welcome back to Off the Cuff Podcast. Hopefully you saw our last episode, but to recap real quick, we got the Reeses here. Last you heard a little bit more from the senior experienced Reece, and we're going to talk to both of them a little bit more this time, but hear a little bit more from AJ Reece, kind of the new addition. So
Baby Reece is what I've been called.
yeah. So we heard kind of a little bit of your backstory last time. Let me ask you, kind of started off. You're coming into the department. You've worked here for a few months. What brought you to Virginia Tech Police?
I've grown up, like I said, I've grown up around here all my life. I've seen a lot of different departments. My first couple jobs out of high school, during high school, I was doing a lot of blue collar work, a lot of down in the dirt, working on farms, running equipment, stuff like that, and was in love with that for a while. And then I started thinking, trying to figure out a better career life for myself, and I started looking at him. And I've had law enforcement as an option on my plate for a while, and it finally came to me that I wanted to do it and really wanted to pursue it. Seeing him and seeing the canine stuff that he's been doing and being around animals all my life as well, it's helped me. I think canine would be the path I'd want to go as well, following in his footsteps, all the things he's taught me.
Him meaning me.
That's my father.
So when did you become a security officer here?
I became a security officer July of 2023.
And how quickly did you become a police officer here?
Within, has it been 10 months?
So out of the two of you, which one got in quicker? Which one transitioned to police officer quicker?
He also came in at the age of, what age did you move up here?
It was around 28. But I also, to my credit, also had prior experience too. So that helped.
I just recently turned 20 in July and won't turn 21 until
There's
July
a lot of that too, Tartar. It kind of depends on, when we have openings and that type of stuff. And so this go around, we had 6 openings. So that was good. And I told him, this is a good time if you're going to get in it now.
Mm-hmm. What's the best part of being a security officer?
The nice air-conditioned truck. Those cold winter nights, you're walking around buildings, all you're looking forward to is getting back into that truck because it's nice and warm. So,
you still work with a partner though in security?
Sometimes on and off, depends on the night. If we're real busy, not really, we'll kind of go our separate ways. But if it starts getting pretty hectic, we'll meet up and try to knock things out together. Especially if there's a lot of calls for the officers, stick together so that one can go off and one can stay and do everything that needs to be done while one can go assist officers if need be.
Mm-hmm. Our listeners might remember from last episode, there was a comment about how you kind of get a little bit of advantage working on campus. You're really going to have a good knowledge of campus coming out of the police academy, where people who we hire on from outside of the university community are still doing a lot of learning, which is totally fine. So having worked as a security officer, what do you think that 100% of campus, or do you think there's going to be places that you don't go often as a security officer that when you become police, you'll be like, I need to learn that a little bit?
We don't do as much with the dorms. We hardly ever go near the dorms at all as a security officer. But other than that, I know campus very well, I feel like. Other than the dorms, Huckleberry Trail, all the drives, all the different streets, knowing all of them, I think that was really difficult for me.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out the names of Washington and Southgate and West Campus. But since working here, especially working at night, at night it's so much different than during the day. During the day, you kind of see all the buildings and see where everything is, but at night, you can barely tell one building from the next. So trying to learn campus has been a big struggle, but also a big advantage.
Yeah. What do security officers do? We discussed some of that, but what are some of the things we missed that you can think of? What are some of the monthly, weekly tasks that people might not know that you do?
So we lock and unlock buildings on a daily basis. We do vehicular assists, jump starts, unlocks, sometimes even assist officer with a spare tire change. But some of the things that kind of goes on in the background for the community is doing all the blue light phones that we have around campus. We do all the checks for those.
What does that mean, check?
So we have to call dispatch from that blue light phone each time that we press the button, and all 130 of them or something like that we have around campus.
Just to make sure they're working properly.
Make sure they're working properly, make sure the light starts blinking, and you can locate the RP and everything like that.
Defective lighting.
Defective lighting, we go around if there's a lamp post out or a street light out, or a building sign is not lit up the way it should be. We have to report that and put it on a sheet, and every other week turn it in. So those are just some things that go on in the background that no one really sees or knows, I guess, that goes on.
And you two both know them. They're also our eyes and ears out there too. We're in places that we're not. So if they see something else going on, it's easy to call on the radio, get an officer over here, and so that is another big.
Yeah, that is a big thing about here recently, having people in buildings they shouldn't be in, and we go through those buildings each day. So instead of having the officers go and walk every building, we walk through them anyway. And if we see something suspicious, or if someone doesn't look like they should be there, just simply get an officer on the radio and be like, "Hey, I need some backup. Could you come check this out for me?"
Oh, so what made you apply compared to why didn't you become a Blacksburg police officer, Christiansburg State Police, game and inland fisheries? Why didn't you become a game warden? Why Virginia Tech? Why did you want to be a police officer here?
The community as a department, I feel like, is a really close, tight-knit department. And not only knowing him here, I've grown up with a couple of officers here. Some of them went to my high school, and some of them I've known through other sports and various activities. So just coming in with kind of a foot in the door, a bigger foot in the door than most, coming in knowing some people and knowing campus. I've come to several football, basketball, baseball games. I've been all around the campus more times than I can count. So even before I became a security officer, I feel like I had a good grip of campus and especially athletics.
The real reason is this is where his mother told me.
Right. That's what I was thinking. You were probably going to go, yeah.
His mother told him either Blacksburg or Tech.
I like it here. All right, Reece 1.0 here. Got a question.
1.0?
Yeah.
Okay.
Having gone kind of through the path that he's going to, what do you think, looking back, what do you think is going to be the biggest adjustment for him, security officer to police officer here?
I think it's going to be an easier adjustment, to be honest with you. I don't think there's a lot of adjustment. It's just get used to paperwork. Yeah. We do a lot of paperwork. Everything's a paper trail. Mm-hmm. And they do a little bit of that as far as the security goes. You always have to write down the hours that you locked the building or whatever you unlocked the building or whatever you had that night. But with us, as an officer goes, there's just a lot more paperwork involved that I believe that. And it doesn't take long to learn it. And he's, and not to, because he's my son, but AJ's very smart, very intelligent, almost too smart for this job. I hate to say it. Not to say that we're all stupid, but he's very intelligent. He'll pick up on things fast, and he'll have no problems. I don't feel at all.
Great. You know the difference between, like when you started in security, you didn't wear vests, bulletproof vests. You didn't have pepper spray, I don't think. You didn't have a lot of the equipment that they have, or even, not that you weren't trained, but the training probably is a little bit different compared. Yeah,
the security since I was on it and since he's been on it has changed quite dramatically, and a lot of that's due to the issues that we've had here on campus. And I feel like I've been here long enough. I've been through all that stuff and seen before and after, and mostly better for the afterwards of things have changed and things have changed for the good. I do feel like that security should have bulletproof vests. As you're out here, people don't know whether they're carrying a gun or not, and so they have the same appearance of what we do. Very dark uniforms, especially at night. So having that and having that training and to go along with all that, I think is very beneficial.
People, a lot of the times, a lot of the students, a lot of the staff, they come up to us thinking we're officers, and I mean, we look very similar. Side by side, we look very similar.
Yeah.
So you're about to go to the police academy. Is that in April?
April 2nd is our start date.
And an academy is usually 6 months, more or less.
About that time.
Five and a half.
And so then you're field training for 3 months. So you're looking at 9 months from April before you would be released for independent patrol, more or less. What are you looking forward to? The academy is a lot different than when both of us went.
Mm-hmm.
You've been to 2, right? You went to Florida here, so it's a lot different. So what are you What are you looking forward to? What are you not concerned about? But
Um, I've honestly been kind of stressing over the physical aspect of it. Um, this I'm not exactly built for running or a lot of cardio. We should say that I was built for,
Not built for speed.
yeah, we'll say that. I can lift heavy stuff above my head 5 or 6 times, but after that, I'm like, okay, I'm a little tired. Other than that, as far as the mental side of things, I'm not really too worried about that. Like he said, in high school, I hardly studied at all. Even with my advanced calculus and AP classes, I didn't study at all for any test or anything.
you're going to study now. You're going to the academy to study. Very cool.
What are you looking forward to looking ahead when you're going to be a successful officer? You're going to crush the academy, do it all, all that great. What are you looking forward to when you've been working here? Say, man, I can't wait to do this. What's that for you?
I can't wait to be able to help the public a little bit more. As a security officer, we don't necessarily deal directly with the public. We kind of run into them on occasion. I live by, if you're not making someone else's life better today, then, you should have done better or do something tomorrow to make it better. Simply helping people out in the community.
What do you want to see as a dream job here at the police department? Like, obviously, could it be K-9 one day?
I want it to be K-9.
Right. If it's not K-9, what is another thing? I mean, not everybody can be Detective MJ, right? But what would you want to do here besides K-9?
I think kind of following the same path he did. I'd like to be on the SWAT ERT team, just get my knowledge up about tactics and stuff like that. Because, like I said, being around him all my life, I've learned a thing or two about, what to do, what not to do, firearm safety, all that kind of stuff. I'd like to be a little more in depth, and he's recently has been going over a lot more with me. That's one thing I'd like, just to even have his knowledge for life, as much hunting and as much stuff I do with firearms, that it would be useful in day-to-day life.
Become a firearms instructor kind of thing.
Kind of something like that. Something that he's exactly.
Kind of to bang off of this, I envision I want him to go supervision because that is where the higher pay is, and I know he's smart. He already has his 2-year degree, and he's actually started looking at getting his 4-year degree, doing the one class a year thing. But I think that he could fall into supervision pretty easily. AJ's a good stature. He's got a good head on his shoulders. I think that's one of those that, we need more of good supervision.
Obviously, at Virginia Tech, one of the hiring benefits, I think, there's a plethora, would be that you could you could get an education. You finish your 4-year degree, or some people are getting master's degrees and things like that. So
that was kind of another benefit of looking at where I'd want to go and
ask him what degree he wants to get.
What kind of degree would you want?
Aeronautical engineering.
Oh boy!
That's a good choice, because a lot of times people pick criminal justice or
Right.
public administration. You need a backup plan,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yes.
that gives you the ability to do this until you don't want to do it anymore,
Right.
and then once you retire, you can do something else. I like that plan. Smart. I don't know who gave you that idea, but brilliant.
My mother.
And man, could that be a connection? I know sometimes we'll go out, part of the job is dealing with people who are kind of in emotional distress, and then when you can make that interesting connection, their eyes light up. And so, and if you had someone with an engineering background who's just having a role in a crisis, and you can say, well, tell me about you, and say, hey, I did engineering, I get that, it's
Right.
tough,
Yeah.
it's stressful, so that could be an interesting connection.
And the community connection point that someone's having a rough day, like you said. But that's going tech and getting a free class every once in a while is not a bad little plan.
Yeah.
Well, MJ, I get my initials mixed up. MJ, are you prepared with the legal update, or MJ's, what do you call it?
MJ's Legal Corner,
Legal
Michael's
Corner.
Legal Corner. I'll take the legal corner. Yeah, I'm excited to tell the listening audience a little bit about the law. I love talking about the law. So let's talk about something today. Reminder, I just like to drop a little law that's kind of applicable to the community, something we see, something people might need to hear a little bit about. So today I'm going to talk about a hit and run traffic crash. So the thing that we see a lot on campus, people back into another car and then they'll just leave on without leaving a note, not tell anybody anything like that. In my opinion, the way I kind of see it, it seems like otherwise good people just get real stressed out and just make a bad choice and drive off and think it's kind of no big deal. They're going to get away with it. Well, unfortunately, it's against the law. Let me drop a little law on us here. 46.2. There's actually two I'm going to drop here. Let's start with the lighter one. 894. So if you hit property and there's nobody in it, back into a car, it is your duty to stop and to either call the police or leave a note. Okay, so driver of any vehicle involved in an accident in which a person is injured or killed, or an intended vehicle, other property is damaged, shall immediately stop as close to the scene of the accident as possible without obstructing traffic and report the name, address, and driver's license to the police. So you back into a car, you hit a car, you need to stop, you need to call the police, try and find the person, anything like that. You have 24 hours technically to do this. So if there's something critical going on, you're going to the hospital or something like that, and you back into a car, there's nobody's in, you can take your time, you can call the police in a little bit. It's really, I wouldn't recommend it. You're going to forget, and you're going to get yourself charged with a crime. If there's anybody injured, hurt, you hit a bicycle, you hit a person on the side of the road, pedestrian, anything like that, there is nothing more important. Whatever's going on in the future, that's on hold, because that could be, unfortunately for you, that could be a felony. So if someone's hurt, someone's injured, you hit attended property and drive on, that's felony. That unattended property is a misdemeanor. So let me toss it to the guest briefly here. You guys had many calls of the hit and run, kind of back into a car and drive off. Is that something that security deals with a lot, or is that something you normally get an officer involved in?
That's something we normally get an officer involved in. We've had a lot of questions if we can repair it on the spot. We've had one that I was asked to try to fix a bumper, and had to get an officer out there. And I was like, this has to be reported, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so that's them a police report, something that you're going to have to bump up a little bit. All right. Had many in your career where someone's tried to drive off from the scene of a crash and they thought they could get away with it, and then surprise, you do a little investigation?
I remember one in my early career of they have a hit and run, and the person who struck the vehicle and took off left their license plate on the bumper and everything. So that was an easy one to find. But it really, to be honest with you, it doesn't take but a few minutes. Even if you are in a hurry, just put down your name, put down your phone number, and just put down I'm sorry, hit your car. Please call me, and we'll discuss it. And that way, when we get there on scene, then we can contact the person and get them back instead of having to go through video footage and whatnot. So it's just an accident. They happen. As long as everybody's okay, we can get through it, and it's going to be mostly just gone through the insurances anyway. So yeah, just if you can for public safety, just scratch down your name and your phone number and what happened.
Yeah, I'll mention kind of to that point. If you're in the future, if you're listening to this, if you back into someone's car, it's going to be a very stressful experience for you, but it's okay. Life is going to be okay. You can call the police. You don't need to try and make some dumb decision and kind of move on from it. So yeah, that's Michael's Legal Corner there.
Can't wait till the next Michael's Legal Corner.
Yes.
Who knows what it will be. So we're going to do rapid fire with you. We're going to do off the cuff rapid fire. So you ready? Are you prepared?
I got you.
These are hard ones. Tennis shoes or cowboy boots?
Cowboy boots.
Ball cap or cowboy hat?
Depends on what time of the year it is.
I know you got to pick one.
A ball cap.
Ball cap. Apartment living or living on the farm?
Living on the farm.
Living on the farm.
We tried that once.
A pickup truck or a hot rod?
Pickup truck.
Pickup truck. Ford or Chevy?
Chevy.
Chevy.
Ford or Chevy.
Why were his a lot easier than that?
They were a lot easier.
I was like, he's gonna know the answers, but they went off the cuff.
Well, thank you both of you for being.
Thank you for allowing the Reeses to be your first guest.
Yeah.
I hope we left an impression or a mark, if you
bar.
will.
We left a bar.
A bar. Left a bar that other guests now have to achieve this greatness.
Any last words there?
No, yeah, thank you both for being here. It's been awesome talking to you guys. And everybody listening, we're looking forward to seeing you next
We can
time.
invite us back for more canine talk.
I
Yes.
agree. I think we definitely. I think we'll.
Yeah.
If you listeners want more canine, please, I don't know how you respond. I don't
Yeah, we're always looking for feedback. If people loved hearing from the Reeses, want to hear more about canines, leave a comment when you're watching this. We're happy to hear input on next episode. So if you loved it, let us know, and we'll try and do it again.